Everyone, I'm Mary Fain Brandt, the host of this show, Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. Hey, we're talking about websites today. Most people get a website created and they set it and forget it. They don't do anything with it. That's probably the worst thing that you can do, the worst investment of your money. I'm on my third website in like 6 years, about 6 years. Because I didn't know what I didn't know before I hired my very first website. And then we changed names and then we rebranded this year. So yes, 3 websites. My question to you is, how many websites have you had made for you? Okay, a better question is your website working for you? Do you love it? And I don't mean like it, you need to love it. And it needs to be generating money for you, right? Leads for you, whether it's speaking opportunities, new clients, whatever that is that you're looking for, is your website finding that for you and attracting the right clients. There are so many things that I didn't know that I needed to have a good website. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can tell you some horror stories. And also, website designers, unfortunately, kind of have a bad name. They kind of disappear on you. That's what happened to me last year after I paid $1,000. The web designer just disappeared. Thankfully, I got my money back. And hopefully that web designer learned her lesson of what to do and how to communicate a little more effectively with her clients. So before you even think about having a website created, you need to have a clear vision of how you're going to use it. Why do you want the website? Is it for selling a course? That's more of a landing page? Are you going to host blogs and videos like I do? Do you need a shop to sell things? These are all questions that you need to answer before you even consider hiring a website designer. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Fain Brandt, CEO and host of this show, Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs, where I interview other savvy business professionals who are experts in their industries to help you grow and scale your business with ease. Jamie Hain of Hain Design is joining us today to bust through the myths of what you need to create a stunning website and everything that you need to know before you even get started. She's also going to drop secret tips that designers probably don't want you to know. So you know how we do this. It's about 30 minutes, maybe 35 with Jamie and I, and 3 tips to keep you on track today. Here's what we're going to be covering. Like I said, designer secrets that make a website work, considerations before hiring a website designer. Oh my gosh, I wish I had this list before. And what to gather before getting started. You actually need to be prepared before you even get started. And you guys, talking about getting started, before we bring Jamie on, I got to give a big shout out to StreamYard, who is the official sponsor of Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. StreamYard makes it so easy to stream to multiple locations like we're doing right now, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Let me know where you're watching from. I see that we have Tim joining us. Tim, thank you so much for dropping by. Elise, thank you for joining us. I'm so sorry. Tim, you correct me. Oh my gosh. Tim and I go way back. We're both streamers. So shout out to Tim today. So StreamYard makes it so easy to go live. You literally just hit the go live button and then end broadcast. You can bring comments on like this and so many other things. I'll drop my link in if you want to know how you can get started streaming or level up your game. And if you're catching the replay, you guys, just do #replay. So Jamie and I know, because we promise to go back and answer your questions and engage with you. We don't want this just to be we're 2 talking heads. We want to answer your questions and help you grow and scale your business. So you know what? Let's bring Jamie up and let's get this party started. Jamie!
Hello! Hi, everybody!
Thanks for joining us. I think we need to give some history of how we know each other.
Yeah.
And why I think you're the expert in website designers, besides creating my amazing, landing page for LinkedIn Remastered and helping me with payment, all that stuff that goes into a landing page. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about your background and why you love building these websites?
Well, and I'll tell you, part of my story, you are at the center of it. And I know you know this, and I'm going to brag on you. And so that you just have to sit back and just soak it all in, Mary. Soak it all in. So I spent 25 years working in corporate America, specifically leading learning and development teams, which is basically training. And after 25 years, honestly, I got wore out. I was not healthy. It was stressful. And so I took a year off. I know many of you are like, I can't even imagine. I took a year off. My husband and I traveled the country in our RV. It was awesome. And I get back and like, what do? I got to get a job. And I haven't tried to get a job in like 15 years. So I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And somebody said, you got to be on LinkedIn. That's where it's at. So I'm like, well, I don't know how to do LinkedIn. And somehow, some way, through referrals, I landed on Mary's doorstep. And it was like the best thing that ever happened to me. Seriously, Mary. So I hire Mary. I bought whatever package it is where she helps you like get your profile set up and teaches you how to use it and all of that. And we get into like, I don't think it was the first session, Mary. I think it might've been the second. And Mary says, I get the feeling you really don't want to do this. I don't know if Mary remembers that, but I remember thinking, yeah, no, it was unhealthy a year ago. It's not going to change now. And she said these words, I'll never forget this. She says, why don't you be a coach? And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What is a coach? What is a coach? She's like, go here are some people to go follow, go to their free webinars, check it out. And so I was like, okay. And like that conversation completely pivoted my future career. So like, Mary, I'm so thankful for that. I'm so grateful and thankful.
You're gonna make me cry. Yes. So Jamie was my client. It was probably 4 years ago, I think.
Oh my gosh, has it been 4 years already?
Yeah. I mean, because COVID, we've been in 18 months of this.
It feels like 4 years just in that. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So Jamie did come to me as a career client, and then session 2, we switched to like, you're going to be an entrepreneur. You're going to start your own business. She's like, what? because she's this amazing trainer, speaker, presentations, communication skills are top notch. And I knew that you had what it took. And I think you did too. Sometimes you need a little kick in the butt. And that's what coaches do sometimes.
That's right.
I'm sweet and fun to work with, but I also like to push people like, come on.
My favorite question that you asked me, and I honestly use this today still in my coaching business. You said, what of your past career, the career that you didn't like, but what were the things that you liked? And if you can figure out what those things are, build your coaching business around it. And I was like, yes. I love it. Anyway, back to my story.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So tell the rest of.
So I started a business called The Presenter Mentor, where I taught presentation skills. And that was to corporate people wanting to speak better in front of audiences. And then COVID hit. And so I had to pivot that business. And I started helping people, coaches and online entrepreneurs, present online and do video online. And it was great. And I still have that business. I still love doing that. But what always happens, and they tell you it happens, your business is going to evolve based on what your clients want and need. And what was happening is I'm working with my one-on-one clients, and they're saying things like, hey, in our next session, can we talk about websites? And in our next session, could we maybe just spend a little bit of time on social media? I need your help. And that became so it was happening so often that I thought, I'm missing an opportunity here. I want to help. I want to help people grow their business. And so that's where Hain Design Co. came in. And I started a business just to do those things, sometimes for the same customers and clients, sometimes different ones. So that's my story, Mary.
I love your story. And I love that I'm part of your story.
Yes.
My whole reason for starting I started as a career coach was really to inspire and encourage others. And then that pivoted into LinkedIn training because all my career clients needed LinkedIn training. And now it's developed this year into content development because my clients, I can get their profiles all done. I can teach them everything. And 95% of them, they're doing great on engagement, but they struggle. They hit this wall when they have to create content. And so this year we started offering content creation. So
I love it.
We all pivot. We pivot and grow. As long as we're growing, I think then we're successful.
That's right. I agree. I loved your bit earlier about all of the website woes. We should do a whole show just on all the horrible things that can go wrong on a website. That would be fun.
Yeah, it would bring back some terrible memories for me, but yeah. So the first person I hired, bless their heart, they passed it on to someone else because they didn't have time. And that person did, I would say, a pretty crappy job. I got what I paid for. So I want to put that out there. You get what you pay for. My second one, Melissa Glaze did a great job on the LinkedIn Bakery. That's the fun website for the entrepreneurs. It's colorful, right? We didn't have any SEO in there. So I didn't really get any ROI on it. It was really a placeholder for credibility and for people to say, oh, she's a legitimate business, if I'm going to be honest. And then we have the new website where we rebranded, and Jamie's been helping me with some updates on that. And then really the landing page, and we're doing another landing page for the upcoming, are you guys ready? A LinkedIn Accelerator Academy coming to you in November. We'll talk more about that later. I want to say hi to Chuck. Chuck is in the house. Chuck, I know him from social media marketing world. You should look up Chuck Moran, MORAN on LinkedIn. He's fabulous. You should definitely connect with him. So let's talk about websites because I learned so much this year going on my third website, my first landing page. And I think the problem, or what do I want to say? I think the issue is small business owners and entrepreneurs such as myself don't understand what it takes to make a good website. And we don't know that we actually have to do work, right? I think most website designers are not writing the copy for you, most. Or if they are, you need to realize that's another chunk of change, right? So I think that most people don't understand that you have to write the copy yourself, and copy is so important. And they don't understand what you need to have before you get started. So where do you want to start with our 3 tips? What to gather before you get started?
No, let's actually start with secrets first.
Ooh,
because who doesn't like some juicy secrets? Right?
Okay.
Because some of the secrets I'm going to tell you are going to lead into some of the later tips. So that's why we'll do that one first. So you want me to just jump in?
I want you to jump in. I want you to drop all the secrets that website designers don't want us to know. Are you guys ready? Get your paper out, get your phone out, take notes.
Okay. So the first one that I'll share is that you should have one goal per page. One goal per page. What is the one thing you want the website visitor to do on that page? That's your primary call to action. Because what happens is, and whether this is a website or even in a presentation, if I were to say to you, okay, everybody, I want you to follow me on Instagram and then like my page on LinkedIn and then comment below and, oh yeah, check this link and go here. If I give you so many different things, you're like, blah, 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 I don't know what to do. And so visitors in that moment go, well, I'm not going to do anything because I don't know what she wants me to do. You've got to look at your web page, your whole website as a sales funnel. And Mary said this earlier. You want your website to work for you. You want your website to bring you business. So it is a sales funnel. And every single page, every single thing on your website needs to be leading down to that primary call to action. So every page should have a single call to action. Now, before you're like, but wait, Jamie, yes, you can have secondary call to actions, but they should be related, right? If your number one action on a particular page is you want people to sign up for your newsletter, then maybe there's a video that's a second call to action that's about watch this video to see what's in my newsletter. They're connected versus completely random.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that, I think I've been told that. I'm pretty sure that you've told me like, don't confuse your audience.
Yeah,
right?
right.
It'd be like creating a LinkedIn post and say, hey, connect with me here, sign up for my newsletter, read my article and go to my website. So it's like in emails, I learned how to write better emails, or at least I think I learned how to write better emails in the copy coaching program I was in. And I learned that, I would have too many call to actions in my emails because I'm like, well, what if they don't want to do that? Let's give them, I'm an options gal. Like, give me options because I'm not sure how I'm going to feel on Tuesday when I read your email. I might want to connect with you. I might want to sign up or whatever. So I was thinking that way, but I learned that that's wrong. So the same thing goes with websites. One action per page. We're going to make that a pro tip from the show. One action per page. Don't confuse your audience.
Correct. Now let's talk about that one call to action on your page. You need to make sure that that single call to action on that page is like a big, huge, flashing neon light that is saying, do this action, right? And so we're talking about buttons. And you want your buttons to stand out on your page. You want to make them so juicy that people want to click the button because you want them to take the action, right? And so you do that a couple of different ways. First, use a contrasting color. And before you even go there and you're like, I know, but I have my brand colors and everything has to be on brand. And you probably have seen these websites where you go to the website and it looks like mauve threw up all over it. It's mauve everything. Nothing stands out. And if nothing,
it's so like mauve with
yes.
It's just like, let me go to sleep. Or
yes.
It looks like mauve threw up everywhere.
It looks like mauve threw up. Different colors and variations of mauve, but it's still mauve, right? So you want that button, that most important thing on the page to stand out, and you got to use a contrasting color. I promise your brand will stay intact. Your colors will stay intact. But if mauve really is your brand color, then maybe you go with a gold or a blue or something that really, again, flashing neon sign, click me, that's what you want. It's also important, and Mary, you said this earlier, how important copy is. You want to make sure that the button says the right thing. And the best tip that I can give you is you want the button to complete this sentence. I want to, ... what? I want to buy this program. Then your button for that call to action should say, buy this program. So it's a quick and easy kind of tip for what do I put on my button?
And so many of us creative types want it to be something fun. And when we were working on my landing page for LinkedIn Remastered, we went through this as like, grab my spot, register. but you need to be consistent on all your buttons, and don't overthink what the button says. Make it where people understand what they're doing.
Right. Because you remember, like, the goal is you want them to click the button, but people will be like this. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when I click this. So I'm not going to click it because I don't know where it's going to go.
Right. Am I registering? Am I reserving a spot? Am I buying something? Am I connecting? So really the buttons need to be clear, concise. They don't need to be fancy wording. They don't need to be fun and flirty. It should be whatever the person's doing.
Right.
Sign up for my newsletter.
Exactly.
Register. Okay.
Crystal clear, right? I know exactly what's going to happen when I click on this button, so I'm not afraid of clicking on that button. And here's the thing, because listen, Mary, I get it. You want to show your personality on your website. You want to have that fun and flirty stuff. Put it in your text, put it in your headlines, put it in a graphic, but the button should be crystal clear. Okay, so that brings me to my tip number 3, my designer secret number 3. And this is probably the one that people, especially designers, are going to be like, don't share that one. Copy is important. Mary, you said it earlier. The words are so vitally important. So here's what I would tell you. Hire a copywriter. Hire a copywriter. This whole show, Mary, you asked me to come on and talk about how you save $10,000. Let me tell you how you throw away $10,000.
Okay, tell us how we throw away $10,000.
You spend $10,000 on a website, but you don't spend $500 on a copywriter, and the words don't convert. Nobody takes the actions you want. It goes nowhere. You've spent all this money on a website that doesn't work for you. So hire a copywriter or learn to write your own copy. If you don't want to hire a copywriter to create everything, hire a copywriter to just edit it.
Yes.
Just edit your words. Because here's the thing here's the statistic that I'll share with everybody. Only about 20% of the people that are on your website, that visit your website, are going to read every word. Most people do not read your words. They scan, right? So here's the most important thing. If you just simply cannot afford a copywriter, you don't want to take copywriting lessons, copywriting is not your jam, whatever it is, focus on your headlines, and instead of paragraphs, use bullets. Because 80% of the people who are on your site, they're scanning to make sure this is what I'm getting, right?
I love bullets. Too much text, like when websites, there's just too many blocks of text.
Yeah.
If you can put it in like the bullet point, like here's the features, here's what you're going to get, here's when we're going to meet, or here's the 5 things that I offer, right? Like bullet points are so much easier because you're right. I'm a scanner. I'm a big scanner.
Yeah, agreed. I struggle to even read books, Mary. I'd rather have the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. We're all in a hurry. We're all a little. I say we're all a little ADD.
Well, yes, we're ADD, but we're all. Here's the deal: you have whatever it is that makes you you. It's what your business is around. It's what makes you a good coach or makes you a good entrepreneur, whatever it is. If writing copy is not it, like. Realize that about yourself and say, this is the piece of my business I got to outsource.
Outsource. So the key to scaling your business, you guys, I know we're talking about websites, but it's to outsource when it's not your skill set. I have a friend and I keep telling them, like, she started her business. I'm like, certain things you just need to outsource or you need to buy the program. So a virtual assistant, you think you can't afford one, you start with 2 hours a week. Right? Copywriter, you don't think you can afford one. Try the copy, get someone to edit it for you. So there are ways to outsource when you're like, but Mary, I'm not making enough money, to outsource. You are, you're going to save time and frustration. And if you're saving for the copywriting, oh my gosh, copywriting is huge and it takes so much time. So you pay someone $500 to edit what you did. It probably would have taken you 3 more weeks to get it right.
Or worse, you get it wrong and you don't know that you get it wrong. And now you spent thousands of dollars on a website that doesn't work for you. Yeah. That's even worse.
Let's go to considerations before hiring a website designer, because I shared a little bit about my story back in November. I hired someone to do the rebranding, did the $500 deposit. 2 weeks later, the other $500. She wanted the balance and I decided not to pay it because I hadn't seen anything. And you know my story. And, I got to be honest, like website designers are known to vanish. I have tons of friends that are like, I hired a website designer. They started it or, this is broken and you just can't get hold of them. So what do we need to do as business owners to make sure that we're hiring the right website designer? Because here's another thing. My site's on Squarespace. Not everybody works on Squarespace. I had a girl that could only do the edits, but when I went to her, it's like, oh, hey, I'm on a new website. She's like, oh, that's above me. Thankfully, she told me that.
Yeah.
But then the other girl, took my money and didn't come back, but it's all good.
Oh, we all have horror stories, right? So I think the first tip that I would give everyone is think long-term. And that's good strategy, whether it's a website or just business strategy, right? Think about what's going to happen after that website goes live. Who's going to make updates? How often are you going to update? What does the future hold? And granted, we don't all have a crystal ball and we don't know, but for planning for what you think you may be doing with your business, you probably have a 3 or 5 year strategy for your business. You want to make sure that your website and your website designer can grow with you. It's also an important discussion topic because different platforms do different things. And if you know in 5 years you're going to want to blog, then that may change which platform you pick and which website designer you pick. So not only should you know what your long-term plans are for the website, that should be a discussion point with the website designer that you hire, for sure.
Absolutely. What else do we need to know before we hire a website designer?
The other thing I would say would be to compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. And so what happens is you're going to talk to multiple different website designers and they're all going to give you a bid. And so it's really easy to look at those bids and go, cheapest one or most expensive one. And listen, for my husband's business, we went both routes and both routes went horribly, horribly wrong. So there's no sweet spot answer for should you go with the lowest price or the higher price? But what's important is to say, make sure you look at the details. What's included in that price? Because what happens oftentimes is you may go with the lowest price option and then you're being nickeled and dimed because that doesn't include it and you got to add this and I didn't know this. So
you have to ask what's included and how much updates are.
Yes. For sure. And not just updates, all the extras, right? All the little, if you want a little bit of pizzazz, you want your buttons to have a drop shadow or a hover effect. Sometimes there's an extra charge for that. So you want to make sure that's all part of your discussion with your website designer before you pick somebody.
Absolutely.
Okay, you ready for the last one? This is the one that you've been waiting for because you even alluded to this one. So just to set the record straight, especially if there are website designers watching, I love you. Many of you, myself included, are a creative person and you like to be inspired and you like to just have creative freedom, and who needs process, right? Well, the reality is all of you watching this as business owners, you need process, right? You want to know what's going to happen and what's the timeline and where are the milestones and are you just going to disappear and then 3 weeks later I'm going to get a website, or is there a discussion? So you want to have this discussion with your website designer. And I'm not saying they're all like this, like Mary described her horror stories, but you want to make sure that if process and timeline is important to you, that you're hiring a website designer that's known for those things. Or that maybe, the website designer does the creatives, but there's a spouse or a partner that manages the communication or whatever it is. But it is important to understand that before you hire somebody is what is this working relationship going to look like? Because if you have a miss, there's nothing worse. Nothing worse.
Nothing worse. Okay.
Yeah.
So we covered the designer secrets that make a website work. Considerations before hiring a website designer. I want to ask the audience, do you guys have any specific questions about website? If you just drop Q and then your question, then that'll stand out and I'll know that that's a question, because we really want to answer your questions. This is like free advice because Jamie charges hundreds of dollars for this. So you've got her for a few more minutes. Go ahead and drop your questions down there. Drop your websites too, because I'd love to check out your websites. Whoever's Tim, Chuck, Elise, and then over on Facebook, we've got Shelly and Sarah over here watching. So yeah, I would love to see your websites as well. So
I'll even go one better, Mary. If you drop your website below and you want me to take a peek at it and give you a tip on how you make it better, I will do that.
Yeah. You're amazing. Okay, you guys, drop your website and Jamie will give you one tip to improve your website. That's amazing. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
And by the way, in case you're like, publicly? No, not publicly. I'll send you a private message to tell you what you would do. I'm not going to blast your website in front of everybody. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, and you're just, we're all here to learn, grow, and improve where we can. So, hey, you guys, take Jamie up on that offer. That is amazing. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what to gather before you get started. And this is probably the area that I think we all fail at, me included, not understanding what I really need to have together before I even say, hey, Jamie, can you create a new landing page for me?
So I would say the first thing to start with is inspiration. So spend some time researching, think about websites that you like, but don't just stop there, because it's one thing to say, I really like this website. Well, what do you like about it? What do you not like about it? It's not enough to say, I really like this website. Well, what do you like about it? It's blue. Is blue your brand color? No. Well, then what are we talking about? Maybe you make blue buttons. I don't know. So it's not enough to just say, here are the websites I like, but what do you like and what do you not like? And they can just be any sites, but for sure you want to look at your competitors. You have a competitor, whether you know it or not, and you should be familiar with their websites.
Like 2,500 competitors.
I know.
There's a million LinkedIn strategists, but your point of, because we've worked together and I sent you links of websites that I like, you were like, great. What do you like about them? Well, they pop, the style, they're fun. They were kind of on brand for me. So when hey, Michelle's in the house. Hi, Michelle. I love Michelle. And now that we had Erica and Heather join us, thank you guys for joining us. They're dropping the websites in. But, when you find that website you like, is it the style? Is it the flow? Is it the buttons? Is it the color? Is it the photos? So find websites you like and then write down. My advice would be write 3 things that you love about them.
And what you don't like, because that's important, right? I love these buttons, but I don't like the word choices. Okay, that's a distinction that you need to make. Yeah, for sure. So inspiration is number 1 for sure. Then the second one is probably something you've assumed, but I want to give you a list and really take it to the next level. So you need to gather your assets. What is going to be on the website? And that's everything from your brand guidelines, if you have them, your logo, the photos you want to use, even the stock photos you want to use, graphics, and then the copy, the words. You want to make sure you have at least a good start on those things, because I'll tell you what gets frustrating, and Mary knows this. You get somewhat through the process, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't have that. I didn't know you needed that. Now we have a 3-week delay while I'm scrambling to go and get it. So make sure you're pulling all of those things together. And here are 2 questions to ask on each of those points. Do I have it already? If not, am I going to create it, or am I going to hire somebody to create it? Back to the copywriting, right? I don't have copy. Am I going to write it and have an editor? Am I just going to hire somebody to write my copy, or am I going to take it on myself? That's an important distinction to do before you hire somebody. And I will tell you this. Some website designers will do your copy for you. So once again, it's a conversation to have with your web designer when you're considering them. What do you include? What do you not include? Are you going to help me with these parts and pieces, or do I have to provide it?
So really, we should have a checklist.
Yeah.
We should have a list of what I need to ask each website designer that I'm going to meet with. Besides pricing, communication. Am I going to because this is what I love about Jamie. We had weekly communication. Yeah. Here's where we're at. And I had a detailed list of what I owed her. So I'm a checklist girl. Give me a checklist. I can go through it and get it done. Tell me, and I'll be like on a Post-it note, where was it? So for me, working with you, it was that communication piece of, we met weekly while we were in the thick of it. I got a checklist of what I had to do, as well as what you were responsible for. So I knew you were on top of it. And that just kind of gives you a peace of mind. So I just want to thank you for that communication style, which I know comes from your corporate days of communication. That communicating. So that's great. So Heather says, yeah, checklist. Yes, please. That should be your opt-in on your website. Rachel says, great information. Michelle joined us. So we've got websites in the chat, and later on, Jamie will grab all those and get hold of you guys. What else do we, so the assets, the copy, who's going to create the copy? Do you need the assets? Is there anything else?
One more thing. So I started by talking about one goal per page. So my last tip for you in terms of what to gather is know what those goals are. What is that sales funnel? Where do you want to drive? What's the path you want your visitors to take? And what are the actions, or like Mary said earlier, I got options. So what are the options that you want to include? You want to write all of those down. The other thing that you want to focus on, other than just the goal, is your customers' needs and goals. Not just your business goals and what you're wanting the website to do, but put on a different hat and imagine you are your ideal client or customer, whatever you call them, and what do they expect and need and want on your website? Make sure that you're meeting their needs as well as your own.
I love that, man. We could keep going on and on, but I do value everyone's time, and we try to keep this in. I say 30 minutes, it's always 35, but part of that is the intro and outro video, so we're not going to count that. So you guys, Jamie, this has been wonderful. You're always so much fun to work with. Please listen to Jamie on these tips. Getting your content together at the beginning will save so much time and aggravation. High five, Chuck. You know it. You're the man. It's what you got to do. So we're gonna wrap up, you guys. If you want to connect with Jamie, where do you want everyone to connect with you at?
I would just say whatever platform you're on, I'm probably on that platform. So you can connect with me there. I will say, LinkedIn and Facebook are probably the ones that I'm on most often. So those would be the best places. And you can just search for me. I'm sure it's in the up above or down below, or I'll add a link so that you can.
Yeah, you can go in and add your links afterwards. I'm all for anyone who's a guest. Please, this has helped to promote you and your services and serve the community. So go ahead and add your links to where you want people to connect with you. And we're going to end this with something fun. It's called This or That, and it's so that you can get to know the guest speakers a little bit more. And I already know them, but this is just fun. So Jamie, I'm going to give you 2 words. You have to choose one or the other. There is one that I might throw a third word in there. You don't get to add yours own, and this is just rapid fire. So are you ready?
No, I'm very afraid right now.
It's easy. You know me. I would not make it anything.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, flip-flops or boots?
Flip-flops.
Pizza or tacos?
Taco pizza. Pizza. I would pick pizza. Pizza.
Country or rock and roll?
Oh, I can't pick there. Rock and roll.
Beach or mountains?
These are hard, Mary. Mountain. Baseball
or football?
Football. Go Saints.
Movies or a nap?
Movies.
Mini golf or real golf?
Neither. If I have to pick mini golf.
She's not following the rules.
I don't follow rules, Mary.
Okay, laptop or desktop?
Laptop. So I can take it to the mountain.
Okay. In your flip-flops. Podcast or video?
What was it?
Podcast or video?
Video.
I know. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cat or dog?
Dog.
Wine or whiskey?
Wine.
Okay. See, it wasn't that bad, right?
No, that was so fun. I love it. I want to know your all answers. Mary, you have to promise to put your answers down below to all those questions, if you remember them.
I know my answers.
Okay.
I will put my answers down below because nobody has ever asked me for my answers.
I want to know.
So I will put those down below. You guys, I just want to say thank you again, Jamie. Thank you for tuning in. Please connect with Jamie on LinkedIn. I'm going to say on LinkedIn. If you're looking for a website or maybe you know someone, I highly recommend that you reach out to Jamie. Just do a consultation and see if it's the right fit, because Jamie will tell you if she's not the right fit for you. That's the other thing I love about this woman, okay? And she does all the work, and she has an amazing team. Ha ha, wink, wink. She has an amazing team of graphic designers, logo project managers, and a LinkedIn strategist on her team. So she's got the whole agency there. It's going wonderful. I'm so excited. Jamie, just about all your answers matched mine. Oh, that's funny. The this or that. Chuck said, thanks all. Let's put that up there. Let's put that up there. And you guys, I'm going to drop the StreamYard link over in the chat, in the comments, so you guys can, look at StreamYard. I'm happy if you buy it. Like, I'm happy to actually give you a 30-minute lesson if you sign up with my link, just because I think it's amazing. And then also, you guys, we've got a new service over here at Mary Fane Brandt Coaching and Consulting. We're offering half-day VIP intensives, and they're selling out like hotcakes. Why? Because you get it done and dusted in 4 hours. A new profile, new headline, new about you section, new background banner, and a posting template. What? Crazy good. They're really going well. So if you want to get that, we have 4 spots open for the month of October. Like I said, they're selling like hotcakes. Really love working with someone. And you get a follow-up call. So we would do a consultation first, but you can go ahead and sign up for that if you like. I just dropped it in the comments. And I think, oh my gosh, that was a lot today. I think that's it. So you guys, we're going to sign off. And one more thing. Come back at 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Yeah, I'll be here again. Why? Because I'm crazy. Because I have 15 minutes of fame. That's me. And I'm going to be sharing some LinkedIn tips for career professionals. So if you know anyone looking for a job, thinking that they hate their boss and they got to get out, please tell them to come join me tonight at 5 p.m.